Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's Sonder Social. We have a Friday night social, but we have almost 200 people dialed in. So I'm very, very excited to have you all here with me. I'm so excited yes, Wild Friday night. I love it. Just as a reminder, make sure to set your chat to everyone. And for those of you who are new, I'm Malika. I will be leading you through your Sonder Social tonight. We're going to be getting really into the theme, which I'm very, very excited about. We're going to be diving into Ikigai, which will be really fun to do with you all. I love this activity. It's such a I just love how impactful it is. I know I've done it before in the past, and I'm excited to do it again. It was a few years ago when I did it, so I'm ready to do it again tonight. And joining me tonight is the fabulous, the one and only Maya. She's dialing in from Denver, Colorado. And she'll be popping in the chat, making sure to answer any questions you might have. But she is here with me. So say hi to Maya. And for folks who are new, make sure to shout yourselves out in the chat. If there's anyone who's new, say hello. I am excited for you to join here. This one's going to be a really fun one. But if there's anyone who's new, go ahead and shout yourselves out in the chat. And just a reminder, make sure to set your chat to everyone and we'll get started. All right, welcome, Mindy. Awesome. Amanda, welcome, welcome. Selena, welcome. Tanya, welcome. Amazing. Lisa, fabulous. Cool. And to pronounce it's Ikigai, so E with the E sound, not the I sound. But okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about this month's theme of flourish. So I always like to start off with just reading off the definition that's in our journal. Grow or develop in a healthy or vigorous way, especially as a result of a particularly favorable environment. So what I love is how Meha wrote in the welcome letter what it means to flourish. So to flourish is to be in flow, energized and unstoppable. To allow yourself to feel full freedom in a journey to learn, absorb, and iterate. This is the state many of us long to remain in. It's when all areas of our lives are moving in complete harmony. So I would love for all of us to keep that definition of what flourish is, that flow state, because our activity of Ikigai is really going to tie in well with kind of helping us achieve that state of flow, which is what we all aspire to kind of bring to our lives, so that everything's kind of working in harmony. And yeah, so that'll be a really fun way to bring in Ikigai. So before we get started, because there are a few new folks, I just wanted to read off some of the rules that we have in Sonder Socials. So making sure that we are all kind and courteous to yourself and others, no promos or spam, respect everyone's privacy, no hate speech or bullying, any product and accessory questions or customer care questions, forward that to hello@silkensonder.com. And then just remember that these Sonder Socials are really a tool to elevate your emotional health and really be powered by this amazing community. This is kind of our main way to interact with each other in real time. And it's so fun to be with you all tonight. I was telling Maya earlier, before this call, that I just have had like a really rough week. I don't know what it is, coming off the 3-day weekend and just having a short week. And then I was like unexpectedly sick yesterday and nauseous. So like, it was just kind of a roller coaster of a week, but just being here with you all is definitely kind of grounding for me. So I'm very excited to be with you all. And we are here. The weekend is finally here. Thank goodness. All right. So, all right, I will walk us through the agenda. So we're going to do the flourish activity. the intro activity. Then we're going to do Ikigai. Then we will finish off with the Flourishing Mandala. So that is kind of the plan for today. We'll start off with our first activity. So for this Flourishing activity, go ahead and turn to a blank page in your notebook, or if you want to do this on a sticky pad or a scratch paper or your thoughts journal, whatever it may be, go ahead and flip to a blank page. And for this activity, I want you all to maybe reflect on a time where you felt some growing pains or were going through a difficult transition. And try to write like a brief letter. It doesn't have to be super long, but write a letter of encouragement that would have been helpful for you during that time. Think about what advice you needed to hear in that moment to help you aid through this transition. Yes, Maya said you can even use bullet points. If you're not feeling like you're in a writing mode, go ahead, write bullets. Maybe write some advice that you would give yourself. So I'll give you all a few minutes. And if you feel inclined, go ahead and share in the chat what advice you would give to yourself as you were going through that challenging period. Thank you all for sharing in the chat. There's a lot of wonderful advice that everyone's giving themselves. And I know this is like kind of an emotional prompt, and it's hard to think about kind of that time in your life. But I just wanted to say how your words were so powerful. And I just think that even like me in my current state of life, I feel like just listening to your words has like really impacted me. So thank you all for sharing. I think that it's like good to remember that we need to give ourselves grace a little bit more. And, in those challenging times that were a tough time at one point, we were able to kind of grow from that experience. And even if we didn't grow in the way that we thought we would, we are kind of in a different space, hopefully now. And even if we're still going through that challenging time, challenging moment, um, just making sure that we give ourselves kind of the space and time to just heal is really, really important. So thank you all so much for participating in this activity. We will now transition into Ikigai, which is on page 15. So go ahead and turn to page 15 of your journals. And I will kind of be explaining what Ikigai is in pretty in depth, and feel free to get started as I'm explaining it, but I just wanted to make sure that you all get a good sense of what is Ikigai and how we can kind of get the most out of this activity. So let's all transition to page 15, and I will walk us through what Ikigai is. So Ikigai is really a concept that evolved from the Japanese medicine, and it is essentially a focus of being in a state of well-being that arises from devotion to activities one enjoys and brings a sense of fulfillment. So really pursuing activities that produce enjoyment, a sense of mastery, on a way to kind of feel a little bit more uplifted. So it basically is Ikigai translates to a reason to get up in the morning or waking up to joy. So that is kind of the fundamental reason of what Ikigai is. And it really is to achieve that sense of flow. We talked about this kind of in the beginning of what flow is, how it ties into our theme very well, flourish. So flow can really occur when you're consistently doing something you love and that you're good at, with the possible added benefit of bringing value to others' lives. So being flow can be seen as being in tune with your Ikigai, or activity, or participating in activities that give your life meaning and purpose. So this is kind of just, it's important to note that Ikigai doesn't only refer to like one's personal purpose and fulfillment in life without regard to others or society at large. So it's really kind of all encompassing. So I'll go through kind of the definition of what each of, here we go, what each of the dimensions are. So you'll see in kind of like this Venn diagram, we see what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. So for like the beginning portion of Ikigai, I encourage you to maybe like wherever you wrote that letter, maybe start brainstorming some bullets, or take a few minutes to jot down some things for each of these sections of like what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And I'll walk through kind of what each of these spheres mean. So for what you love, this sphere really means what can we do or experience that brings us the most joy in life. that makes us feel the most alive and fulfilled. So what do we love, where we almost like lose track of time? Like, is it sailing? Is it writing poetry? Is it diving into a really good book? Is it rock climbing? Is it singing? Is it spending some time with friends? What is it that you truly love? And think about whenever we think about what we love, try not to be concerned about these other dimensions. Just jot down what you love, what you truly love, whether you're good at it or not, whether you can get paid for it or not. That's irrelevant. Just jot down some things that really bring you joy, and put it in that section. Okay, so then what you're good at, which is the next one, this sphere includes anything you're particularly good at. So what are some skills that you've acquired through either you've learned over time, or hobbies you've pursued, or talents you've had since an early age? What are you good at? For example, for me, it would probably be playing the piano, or things that like being empathetic or public speaking. But things I'm definitely not good at, but could be you guys can be good at, are sports. Maybe you're really like a surgeon or a doctor and you're really good at that field. Maybe you're a really great painter or artist. Maybe just any capabilities or talents that you're equipped with that make you you. And it doesn't really have to be something you're passionate about. It's just something that naturally comes to you, and something that you're really good at. Okay. So for okay, Kat said what you're good at is that mission or vocation. So these are separate. So these are, if you look at the diagram here, let me just pop on back to the diagram here. So these are what I'm walking us through, these outer rings, and then we'll kind of zoom in a little bit and we'll find those intersections, and then we'll kind of talk about passion, mission, profession, and vocation. So right now I'm kind of talking about the outer rings right now. So I recommend kind of maybe jotting down some bullets on a scratch paper, and then we can kind of write in these boxes after. So, oops, okay, here we go. All right, so what the world needs. So this is kind of the third dimension, what the world needs. The world here might be kind of humanity as a whole, or it could be a community that you're really in touch with or really involved with. It could be your town, whatever it may be. You can kind of define what that world is for you. But think about kind of what are some things that you can do to help your community. It could be providing, maybe you're volunteering in a political election, or you want to improve the safety of your neighborhood, or what is something that you can contribute to your neighborhood, or your community that would help the world. So it can be kind of both, Crystal. So it could be like what the world needs and what you can do to help with that world, what you could do for that world. So what can you do good beyond yourself? So what's something that you can do for others? So for me, I think something that I'm going to put in this section is, I think that there's a lot of education that can be enhanced in my community, and I want to kind of encourage young girls to pursue STEM careers and feel like they have role models to look up to. So that's something that I'll probably get involved with, and something that I believe that the world needs. But okay, and then we'll now move on to what you can get paid for. So for this dimension of the diagram, it really refers to society at large and what you can get, what the market will bear. So what is something that you can get paid for? So you might be passionate about writing poetry, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can get paid for it. But what could happen is, how can you turn your passions or your talents into something that you can get paid for. So say that you see something that's in demand. Maybe there's something on Etsy that's in demand that you don't see that people are doing, or you could do better. Then you can go ahead and set up a shop, or you can kind of figure out a way to bring in some more income. So that's kind of what you can get paid for dimension really means. Okay, so I've walked us through the different dimensions, and you guys can all kind of write down some bullets for each of those dimensions, and then we'll walk through the passion, mission, vocation, and profession. So now that we've kind of bulleted out some things that we can get paid for, some things that we're good at, some things that the world needs, something that we love, we're next going to find those intersection points. So this is kind of what passion, mission, vocation, and profession are defined as. So just remember that like Ikigai is a state of being which may be quite difficult for us to embody, but Ikigai can also represent hope to lead to a more fulfilling life. And it's only in a way that only you can define it, because we're all individuals, we're all very different from each other, and it's tough to kind of have it the same for everyone. It's not going to be that way. So just remember that at the intersection of what you love and what you're good at is your passion. So passion is a strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement or something or doing something. And then at the intersection of what you love and what the world needs is your mission. So your mission is described as what we do and how we do it. It identifies the benefits we deliver from our endeavors. It describes us in the present. It describes our purpose and what is our true north, or our guiding, our North Star that points us to our future. At the intersection of what the world needs and what you can get paid for is your vocation. So a vocation is a job or a calling in which one is focused in doing a particular kind of work. So it's work that one does because they feel a deep affinity for or attraction towards. And then finally, a profession is the intersection of what you're good at and what you can get paid for. And a profession is a job that someone consciously adopts and studies. And it refers to more the intellectual pursuits, which involve getting a recognized qualification, maybe like, for example, teaching, or it can overlap sometimes with vocation, but think of it as what you love and what you can get paid for. So those are the boxes that like kind of the definitions. And I understand that, like, I remember when I was first doing this activity, these terms were kind of difficult because we use a lot of these interchangeably when we talk about our passion and our mission and our vocation and our profession. Those are very like similar. But these definitions should hopefully help you to provide some additional context so that there's like a clear delineation between each of the four kind of intersections of Ikigai. So I'll give you all some time. I know this is a lot. And yes, Lauren, Ikigai can definitely change over time, right? Because we're all evolving. And maybe as we grow, we find things that we love that we love now that we didn't love before, or things that we used to love that we don't no longer love. So this is kind of like going forward, kind of what's your mission. So yeah, so I will give you all, I know this is a lot. I definitely went through a lot. And if you have any questions, or if you have something that you're unsure about, go ahead and type in the chat. But yeah, so I'll give you all a few minutes. I know this one will take a little bit of time, so I'll give you all a big chunk of time, and I'll pop in a little bit and see how everything's going. And we can regroup in a few. I wanted to pop in. I think it's real. Totally understand. This is like kind of hard sometimes to find the difference between some of these passion, mission, vocation, and profession. But it is like I think it's also kind of eye-opening what we're struggling with is actually kind of good to know because sometimes we tend to not think about that section of our lives and we can kind of figure out maybe it's something that you don't really want to focus on. Maybe you're retired or whatever, you're done with your like kind of professional career, but what's that new path for you? So maybe it's not your typical job, but what is kind of the next chapter? What is something that's going to help your mind stay engaged or something that you can contribute? Maybe you want to volunteer, whatever it may be. Maybe you're not focused on kind of what you can get paid for, but maybe what is something else that drives you that'll help you with your vocation and profession. So I want to make sure that we're also kind of focusing on people who are maybe at a later phase. So and I also wanted to quickly share some ideas. So here are some examples of Ikigai in the past. So here are kind of like, again, like you can bullet it out. You can definitely kind of see what you're good at. I love this person. They put like what makes them happy, what they're good at, and then they incorporated it with their passion, mission, vocation, and profession. And then here are some other examples as well. Um, so it doesn't always have to be, you know, you can really just kind of brainstorm if you'd like, if you don't feel like writing full out sentences, but it could be phrases, it could be bullets. So yeah, so this is kind of some examples. And if you need more space, go ahead and turn to a notes page and keep writing. You don't have to feel constrained by these boxes either. So I will pause and give you all some more time to fill out your Ikigai. All right. I invite all of you to maybe take a deep breath. This was a lot, and it's definitely can be difficult to really dive into Ikigai, but I do believe that it is kind of a good eye-opening activity and really kind of sheds light on maybe what is our driving purpose. So thank you so much on spending this time just kind of exploring Ikigai. And even if you weren't in the journaling mood, maybe kind of just at least getting started is really the hard part. And I definitely invite you all to kind of revisit when you're feeling like those writing juices are back in and you are ready to kind of just start writing again. So definitely okay if it wasn't your time, but definitely invite you to revisit this activity if you can. But yes, I do believe somebody asked if there's any resources. There's a book called about Ikigai. I haven't read it, but it's been on my reading list for a while. So actually I'm probably going to purchase it after the social because I definitely want to learn more about Ikigai and see how I can kind of get the most out of this activity and making sure that I kind of revisit it because I feel like I do at times, especially working from home, just feeling like a loss of kind of purpose, like overall purpose. And I feel like my job definitely takes up a lot of my time, but is it something that I truly love? Like those are things that can be revisited. I will pop it in the chat after the next activity. I'll do some research and make sure to share a link with you all. But thank you all so much for being patient with Ikigai. I hope it was a good experience. And we will now move on to a little bit more of a fun activity, which is our flourishing mandalas. So turn to page 21 for this activity. And for this one, it's a little, I know typically in the past we've seen like gumball machines where we're kind of filling out the gumballs, but this is a little more fun. It's a little bit more artsy. So I really like this one. So for these six dimensions, kind of think about six areas of your life that will help you flourish. They can be people, items, or events. Here are some examples that I want to share with you all. I'll keep these up as you kind of brainstorm, but I also wanted to share this with you as well to help get those ideas flowing. So, what are some things that will help you be in that state of flow or help you with those goals that you might want to achieve? What are those dimensions and how can you kind of incorporate that in your mandala? So I will give you all a few minutes to maybe think about six things, the six areas of your life that'll help you flourish, and go ahead and type in the chat. I love what Katie's doing to repurpose this. So she's using this as a way to accomplish reading some of the books that she has on her reading list. So she's writing down the six titles of the books that she wants to read this month. I think that's a great way to repurpose this. So whatever, you can definitely, if you don't want to focus on flourishing, you can definitely take it in another dimension. But this is some idea. These are some ideas to get you started. Yes, Katrina, I will go back to this slide right here. Perfect. All right, so I'll give you all a few minutes to fill out your mandalas and then we'll regroup before the end of the social. All right. Thank you all so much for nearing the end of our Sonder Social. But thank you so, so much for staying with me this hour. It was so lovely to spend Friday night with you all. It's always a treat to have a Friday night social, and just having the experience to share it with so many of you is truly, truly an honor. So thank you all. I hope you all feel ready for your weekend. You've already done quite a bit of reflection on what's going to make you flourish. So I encourage you to go after it this weekend and truly flourish into the amazing people that I know you all are. So thank you all so, so much for spending time with me this evening. And I hope to see you at my next social. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next time.
Wait, dear, a white horse walking down my street here.
Oh, before